What's going on, everybody? Kennybomb is in the building because this is something I wanted to see for a very long time, and honestly, I didn't think it was going to happen. But Animalities will be making their return in Mortal Kombat 1. Now, leading up to this announcement, I did some videos looking at the Mortal Kombat 1 roster to try to figure out if Animalities did come back, what animal should these characters turn into? And a few of those animals actually appeared in this trailer. Even though we really don't have many vicious animals to choose from, trust me, after doing these videos, I know. But it has to count for something, right? Since we now know Animalities are coming back, which animals should these characters turn into? I'm gonna tell you what I think right now. But first, I gotta let y'all know that I am giving away 2 editions of Mortal Kombat Chaos Reigns. Love the name, but I gotta get used to it. All you gotta do is drop a like on this video and smash that subscribe button. And on the week of release, I will do a live stream and announce the winners. Now, let's get into it.
Run, boy, they coming now.
We're gonna start off with 8 characters from Outworld, starting with Sindel. Where do we go with Sindel? In Mortal Kombat 3, she was some kind of purple hornet, and I think we can do a lot better than that. We know her special ability surrounds her voice. It gets loud enough to kill a man. But there's really no animal that can kill you with their voice. So we look at her next trademark, and that's her long white hair. So what can we kind of take from that to give Sindel her animal? For her to feel her inner animality, I'm going with the white wolf. Now, we all know a wolf is a very dangerous animal that will eat you if it needs to, but this white wolf ties back into Sindel's character perfectly. We look at the white hair on Sindel, matches the hair on the wolf. The wolf howls very loud and Sindel screams very loud. So after the animality, you could have that wolf howl and kind of tie it back into Sindel. But the real star of this show is the white hair on the wolf, because after the animality, you get that blood all over the wolf, and Peter ain't gonna like it, but that's Mortal Kombat beauty. So I think this white wolf works perfect for Sindel. Let's go ahead and move on to our next character, and that is Mileena. Now, Mileena's a tough one. So tough that they racked their brains so long for Mortal Kombat 3 that they exploded, and they ended up turning her into a skunk. We can't turn Mileena into a skunk in Mortal Kombat 1. We gotta turn her into something a lot more vicious. Now, of course, you wanna default to something with those crazy teeth, but it's hard to get when you think about animals, something big enough with crazy teeth to represent a queen. So you kinda gotta go with what you can, and I say you go with the queen of the jungle, and that is the lioness. The teeth aren't too crazy, but they are very sharp. And with this being the queen of the jungle, I think it represents Mileena very well because she is our new queen of Outworld. So we're going with the lioness for Mileena. Next we have Kitana. Kitana's a pretty tough one. Even tougher than Mileena, because Kitana's a very sweet woman, a beautiful woman who really has no flaws. So how do you turn her into an animal? There's really only one way you can do it. What way is that? You turn Kitana into a unicorn. Now, are unicorns real? We don't know. We just never seen them before, so we assume they aren't. But even if they aren't, Animalities are goofy, so why can't we get goofy with them? Throw some heart animations and sparkles all on the screen to make it look like it's going to be a friendship, and then boom! Horn through the chest. Now we got red blood all over the white unicorn to make a beautiful animality. I think that's a lot better than the rabbit she was in Mortal Kombat 3. Let's get to that. Moving on to the next one, we have Tanya. Now, Tanya wasn't in Mortal Kombat 3, so this will be the first time she gets to feel her animality. And I think her animality choice is obvious. There's only really one thing you can go with. Think about it in your head. What should Tanya be? And when I reveal it, you probably got the same thing. Take a second. If you need to, pause the video. Now we're back. Only one thing Tanya can be, and it's a leopard. It only makes sense. Look at the color of her clothes. It just matches. It matches perfect. I mean, really, no explanation needed. Tanya's a leopard. Let's get it done. And moving on to the next one, we got the Outworld outcast, Li Mei. maybe not quite an outcast, but they don't like her, so get her out of there. Lee Mays is pretty easy as well. This is going to be her first animality also, and we see these Chinese guardian dragons she throws around, so turn her into a Chinese guardian dragon. Even if you want to fuse her with the one she's already got, that's another one that's already a layup, so you could throw that in there as well. Next up, we have Rain. Now, this one can be very, very interesting. My favorite character in Injustice is Aquaman. I never even liked him or cared about him in DC Comics until Injustice 1, but he was so good in that game, I still love him up until this day. But in Injustice 2, he had a special move where he brought water into the stage, and then a shark came in and bit his opponent. I think Rain can do something just like that, even if they wanted to recreate the same thing. Just turn it into an animality. Rain's animal is most definitely gonna be a shark. A lot better than the elephant he was in Mortal Kombat 3. It really just did not make sense. Next, we got Ermac. Now, Ermac is an interesting one because Ermac is not necessarily a person. He's a lot of people. He's a lot of different things. So how do you turn it into one specific animal? I don't think you do that. And I know they're not going to give him like 3 or 4 different animals that he can choose for the animality. So for Ermac, I think what you would do is kind of randomize it. Just like Shang Tsung can turn into different characters, just make him turn into somebody that's already on the roster. He doesn't need his own unique animality. Make him use everybody else's. Some people might see it as lazy if they did that, but I wouldn't mind at all because based on the character, I think it would make a lot of sense. So I would give him a pass on that one. And last but not least, for the characters we're looking at today, it's going to be Reptile. Now, you might think it's obvious, turn him into the lizard thing he already turns into, but I think that's too easy. You could make him go full-blown alligator, but you know what? Let's make him go full-blown snake. Have him wrap himself around smoke from his feet to his chest. Squeeze his body, he's looking up, boom, eyeballs pop out. The snake catches the eyeballs in his mouth and then comes down and takes the top of his body off with his mouth. Beautiful animality for Reptile. NRS, let's get cooking. All right, so we gotta start off with the general. And if you're gonna turn the general into an animal, it's gotta be a strong animal. It's gotta be an animal that's not afraid to take charge. You know what they say, if you mess with the bull, you get the horn. So I think if you're gonna give General Shao a strong animal, it's gotta be exactly that. So for General Shao, we are going with the bull. I mean, this is pretty much perfect. There's no need to complicate things. He's already got the horns, so you can transform him into this bull-like creature. That's another thing. With these animalities, I don't think they need to turn into the animal directly. I think he could turn into a bull-like creature. You know it's a bull, but it looks more scary than that. I'm surprised he didn't have a fatality that involves the horns in the first place. He's got 2 great fatalities, but this could give him that horn fatality he's missing. Or animality, same thing. But I'm locking in the bull for General Shao. Let's go ahead and move on to the next man, and that man is Reiko. Now, Reiko's a tough one. And I know I say this is a tough one a lot, but trust me, y'all, I do not envy the person who has to come up with this stuff. But Reiko, we look at him, we look at the pain on his face, we look at his personality, we look at the loyalty he has. I think there's only one animal that really embodies that. And I'm gonna say it's a wild wolf. Now, we gave Sindel the white wolf. If you haven't seen that video, you should probably go check it out. But for Reiko, I think this is the perfect fit. I could see Reiko transforming into this mean, nasty wolf as he stares his opponent down, spitting everything coming out of his mouth, and we'll use Smoke for example. He looks at the wolf, tries to run away, that wolf runs up to Smoke, jumps on his back, grapples him to the ground, goes crazy. We got Reiko's animality. I think we need to go ahead and lock that one in. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, and that is, now y'all, again, this one was pretty tough because I was thinking about an animal who behaves like Havoc, but he's in here ripping off his arms, ripping off his legs, ripping off his balls, just ripping everything off. And there's really no animal that does that. So what do we do with Havoc? I don't know. I do not know. But what I came up with was a crow. There's a new Crow movie coming out, and the guy who's playing the new Crow guy kind of looks like Havoc, so why not go with a crow? Now, how would a crow fatality work? Havoc turns into the crow, goes beak first through the opponent's chest. Now we see the heart beating with the hole in it. The opponent, again we'll use smoke, falls to the ground, and then a bunch of other crows come up and eat his carcass. I think a crow works for Havoc. But what do y'all think? If not a crow for Havoc, what animal would y'all go with? Let me know in the comment section. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one we have on this list, and that is Shang Tsung. Now this one was pretty simple for me because Liu Kang calls this guy exactly what he is. That's a snake. Now I know we said reptile should be a snake as well, but if we only had one snake in the game, I honestly think we go Shang Tsung over reptile. Look at the colors on this python. I think it's perfect. This python looks like Shang Tsung. Match made in heaven. I don't think there's a better one you can go with. If y'all can come up with something better than the Cobra, let me know in the comment section, but I don't think so. I think this one is spot on as well. Now let's go ahead and move forward to the next one, which is my boy, Quantled Chi. The Quantest of the Cheese. This is a man who brought his animality right into the game with him. As stated earlier, no need to complicate things. If Quan Chi is going to have his animality, I don't think you need to make it difficult at all. You give him the octopus thing. Now I said that snake looked like Shang Tsung, but come on y'all. This octopus actually really looks like Quan Chi. But there is a lot of animalities you could come up with octopuses. Infinite possibilities. You can use the black ink. You can use these tentacles to squeeze their body. You can sit them on top of them, pull them up in there, spray out the blood with the ink. All kind of different stuff you can do. So octopus is perfect. Since he's already pulling octopus from the Netherrealms with the octopus testicles and all of that stuff. I said that last time. Y'all thought I meant to say tentacles. Octopus tentacles, octopus testicles, whatever he's pulling from the Netherrealm. Just have him use both. I'm sure he can make it work. But next up we have Nitara. She should be a turtle. She should be a bat. Easy, simple. But I don't think she should turn into a bat like a little stupid flying bat. I think they should kind of just make her face look like a bat. Just transform her face and have her do some bat stuff. I don't know if she calls out a colony of bats like Saberwolf's Fatality and Killer Instinct Gold. I don't know. She can do something with a bat though. No need to complicate things. And last but not least, Bihan. Oh, come on. Bihan's not a bad guy. He's just a man who wants the best for his people. A good guy who will do anything to get his people there. So we're going to take him off of this list. And we'll talk about Bihan in the next video when we look at the ninjas. The good guys, you know? Wait a minute. He just said we were talking about ninjas. Ashra's not a ninja. Well, some of these characters don't really fit in with any packs. I guess you could put Ashra in there with Liu Kang's crew at this point, but we put her in here. So, Ashra. What should she turn into if she had an animality? Ashra was the hardest to figure out in this whole pack because she's a demon from the Netherrealm. What animal do you turn her into? I decided to turn her into an insect. And you know what? She's not going to be the only one who turns into an insect, so I think that's fine. I think you turn Ashra into the queen bee. Just looking at her outfit, this is kind of the first thing that came to my mind, and you know what? It could work. She turns into the queen bee. You got some other bees rush behind her, sting up the opponent. They get these big boils like they're allergic to bees, and then they explode. Something crazy like that I think would definitely work for Ashra. Would work for Devora too, but hey, I think we can make it work for Ashra. Now let's get to our first ninja, and it's Scorpion. This one's tough, right? What should Scorpion turn into? No, it's not tough at all. You turn him into a penguin like they did in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Sometimes the obvious answer is not the wrong answer. The man has a scorpion tattooed on his arm. Why does he call himself Scorpion? There's no animals that breathe fire like, you know, his natural born ability he has. So I think you just kind of play it safe. You turn Scorpion into a scorpion. That one was easy. Next, we move on to Baraka, who is also not a ninja, but we threw him in this pack instead of putting him in there with Liu Kang's crew because we got a lot of characters in Liu Kang's crew. But what do you turn Baraka into? This was another tough one. Thinking about animals with those sharp teeth, we ran into the same issue with Melina. But with Baraka, it wasn't as tough because for some reason, I think it would be cool if we turn Baraka into a monkey. Now, some people might say, oh, monkey, come on, bro. Have y'all ever seen damage monkeys can do to humans? These animals are very strong. And again, we don't have to play it like a little cute monkey. It can be like a rabid, crazy, foaming at the mouth monkey. Just gets in there and rips the opponent's face off. Maybe they eat it afterwards. Y'all, I don't think we're getting Animalities back because PETA is not going to have it. Mortal Kombat will be under even more fire if we did this. But I think the monkey definitely works for Baraka, so let's go ahead and lock that one in. Next up, we got Sub-Zero, and again, this is another case of if it's not hard, don't make it hard. That was kind of crazy. But for Sub-Zero, y'all already know. I saw it in the comment section in the last video a lot. Hell, you saw it on the thumbnail. So for Sub-Zero, we are absolutely going polar bear. The blood on the white fur of this bear, y'all. Beautiful, poetic. You gotta do it. Could they do it? Again, I don't know. For certain reasons, I don't know if they could pull it off, but it would definitely be a beautiful thing. Now we have our non-ninja we're going back to, and that guy is Omni-Man. Think in your mind right now, if Omni-Man had an animality, what would it be? For me, this one came up like that because it's so obvious. There's one type of energy Omni-Man gives off. Just big, buff, mean. Gorilla energy. Look at the man. He grabs your head and squeezes it until your eyeballs pop out. So what else gives you that type of strength besides a gorilla? I think there's no other options. I don't think there's nothing else better y'all could come up with in the comment section either, because Omni-Man, I think the gorilla fits perfect. And last, but most certainly least, we got Smoke. Y'all know I want the Smoke with Smoke. So if we got to give him an animality, we're going to give him a good one. We're going to give him a good one that makes a lot of sense for him, because the character stinks. If he stinks, what other animal can we make him? We make him a skunk. Think about it. It all makes sense. Skunks spray the stink stuff out of their booties and all of that kind of stuff, so you can have it come out as smoke. Ah, character screams or whatever, melts just like Katana's kiss fatality. It's poetic and it works. We're kicking this thing off with Johnny Cage. Now, this is why I told y'all this one is the most difficult, because Johnny Cage has a huge personality. He's Mr. Hollywood, so you want to get an animal that ties back into that for it to make sense. And there's not many animals you can do that with. So the one I settled on is a bull. Now hear me out. I know we went bull for General Shao, and if we got to go one animal for one character, then we definitely stick with the bull for General Shao because he's got the horns. But I think the bull kind of works for Johnny Cage as well, because think about it. Bulls have a lot of personality. You see the guy holding out the little red thing, and then a bull runs towards it as they're running around the little stadium. You can use that for a fatality. So Johnny Cage being that bull, you can make it goofy. Have the other character holding up the red thing, or let's say your opponent is, let's just pick somebody random. Smoke, and he's got the gray clothes on, and let's just say, you know, he got the red blood all over him. When Johnny Cage transforms into the bull, you start seeing it from like the first person perspective, and you just see the red glowing. So Smoke starts running around the arena. Even if you want to turn it to a stadium to make it extra goofy, it's fine. We do it with friendships all the time. Animalities are goofy as it is, so hey, make him do it and make him catch Smoke, horns through the back, run around the arena with them until Animality comes up. I don't know. I think you could definitely make this work for Johnny Cage. If y'all got a better animal for Johnny, let me know in the comment section, because I can't think about any other animal with personality. Except monkeys, but we did a monkey, I think, in the last video, so we didn't want to go back there. The next character we have is Geras. Now, Geras, there's a few places you can go here. Now, this character screams animality. For one, bear. A bear is simple, obvious. Geras looks like a bear, but I believe we used the bear for Omni-Man, and I didn't want to go there again. Too easy. So we had to do something a little bit harder. So with Geras, we're not going with the bull because we just went with the bull. With Geras, we are going with the elephant. When Geras is in his second attire, he reminds me of an African king, even kind of in the first attire. He reminds me of Eddie Murphy and Michael Jackson's Remember the Time video. So when I think Geras in animals, for some reason my mind goes to the elephant. How do you do an animality with an elephant? What you can do is have him extend the trunk, grab the opponent, maybe suck him up in there a little bit, squeeze him, bones break, you spit the bones out and spew the blood all over the place. Y'all, these animalities will not be happening in Mortal Kombat 1 because Peter will be all over them like a pack of baboons on a pizza. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And we have Kenshi. Now, I'm thinking, what is a blind animal? People always say blind as a bat, and I know that's probably not appropriate, but you're not gonna go bats. Kenshi turning into a pack of bats? That's Natara's thing. I actually had to get help from my boy Kiddo Valentine on this one. He said, you know what? What if you go with a fox? And I was like, you know what? Kenshi could actually be a fox. If you put the fox head on Kenshi, you can see a fox Kenshi existing in this world. I mean, foxes are pretty dangerous. If you don't go with the fox, what do you go with? A honey badger? It's too boring. He is a foxy young man, right? So I think we go with fox for Kenshi, even if you go with a blind fox. Take his eyes out or something and you know what? Make it work. Call the pack, Kenshi, and let's get it done. Next, we got Kung Lao. Now, y'all know, I mean, look at his face. In Mortal Kombat 1, Kung Lao, he's kind of a goofy guy. He was serious in Mortal Kombat X. I mean, I didn't like him because he was old, but he was fire. One of the best characters in the game to me, I think next to Sub-Zero. Same with Mortal Kombat 11, he was pretty good, but Mortal Kombat 1, not a crazy Kung Lao guy here. I think they need to give him a bit more edge. But because he's goofy, I'm gonna give him kind of a goofy animal. That's very dangerous. One of the most dangerous animals in the world, but for some reason, it's always just been goofy to me. That's a hippo. Come on, y'all. Hungry Hippos was crazy. But have y'all ever seen a hippo crush a watermelon in his mouth? Insane. Put the head in the hippo's mouth. Animality, baby. Let's get to it. So, not really a knock on Kung Lao. He got a good one, but again, goofy guy who definitely needs a bit more edge. Next, we got Raiden. We got to get the hippo out of here first. It's obvious. Electric animal, y'all. What is an electric animal? But how do you do it? Because you can't just turn Raiden into an electric eel and boom, that's his animality. He's got to do some cool stuff. You know, he has the amulet that gives him lightning abilities, so he's got to make it rain. So I don't know if he needs to call rain for help on this one, but it needs to rain and electric eels just need to fall out of the sky or something. And then maybe he turns into one and attacks the character somehow when he squiggles on the ground to shock him. I don't know how you do it, but what other animal has control or can shock you like that? It's got to be an electric eel. They made it work with Aquaman. Raiden's not a rain character or a water character, but somehow you got to make it work. Hey, they didn't make sense in Mortal Kombat 3, so they don't got to make sense here either. They just got to make a little bit of sense. That's it. That's all we're here to do, is to make a little bit of sense. And last, but most certainly not least, we have the leader of this universe. We got Liu Kang. Ever since Nightwolf told Liu Kang to feel his animality, he's been going crazy. Even though animalities have not been back since Mortal Kombat 3, Liu Kang's pretty much still been feeling that animality ever since. Come on, y'all. Annihilation was a good movie. Except the Shao Kahn parts. That was the only bad thing. But this one's pretty obvious. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We all know if Liu Kang has an animality, it can only be one thing, and that is a turtle. No, of course, Liu Kang has to turn into a dragon, but not just a normal dragon. It has to be a godlike dragon. Not even like this one. I'm talking about like the one on the thumbnail. In fact, I don't know. I think he may need to stick to that classic green dragon. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. But thank y'all for tuning into this video. Bomb Squad, let's get to that.